Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions. Alex Fedotoff, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your schedule to be with us. I'm super excited for our time together. Like we talked about before we got before we hit record, everybody has a story and our passion is to help them tell it. So with your permission, we're going to have you start with where you were born and tell us your life story up till today. And then we can talk about anything you're working on today and for tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm excited for our time together, bud. So where were you born?
Back in Ukraine, in Europe.
Okay. Did you grow up in Ukraine?
Yeah. So in 1990, so right before the Soviet Union collapsed.
Yeah. So what was your favorite thing about growing up in Ukraine?
I mean, I didn't choose to be born there. But,
yeah.
Well, I mean, Ukraine is. I mean, it was post-Soviet Union. I grew up in a like relatively like poor family, but it's I don't even know, like it's more like I don't remember many things from my childhood. It's kind of oh man, it's Mark, can we restart? I just can we restart because I just don't have that many memories.
That's okay.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So who was the most influential person to you growing up?
My dad. So when I was like 7 years old, my mom, we were like pretty poor. And so my mom had to go to another country, to Israel, to work as pretty much cleaning houses and stuff like that. And so I spent most of the time with my dad between the ages of like 7 and 15 years old.
Yeah. So what was it about your dad that made him the most influential?
I think he was pretty like he was strong, like he's like strong individual. He usually enforced like kind of, if he said something that had to be done. So it was more like I would say like they have in Eastern Europe. I mean, they still have it in Russia. It's more like totalitarian upbringing I had. So
okay.
yeah, but I love my dad. I'm very grateful for all the things that he taught me.
That's awesome. So growing up, going to school, did you have a favorite subject?
I liked history, and I liked history. Most of the subjects I just, maybe because of the teachers, I wasn't very engaged in, but I loved history. I could just read the book and like memorize it very fast, and I could just repurpose the words, like say it, like storytell in a very very fast manner.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love history too. So growing up, did you play any sports?
I did some martial arts, mostly just to protect myself, because it's the environment was pretty harsh, like on the streets and stuff like that. Usually things were done through force and strength and fights. So I just had to learn how to protect myself.
Yeah. So you learned just from various martial arts, or one in particular?
Yeah. So there's still, I mean, it still exists. It's like Sambo. Sambo. It's like wrestling. It's like wrestling mixed. It's like mixed martial arts, pretty much.
Okay.
That was the main one that I was practicing.
Gotcha. Okay. So growing up, did you go to college in Ukraine?
Yeah, it was like university.
Yeah.
University and yeah, it's like I did like a bachelor, I think bachelor degree.
So what was your major in college?
Economics,
Okay.
accountings, economics.
Why'd you choose economics?
I wanted to be a banker because I said
Okay.
like, yeah, kind of my parents forced me to do that because like they said like bankers make a lot of money, which by those standards they were making like I don't know like maybe $500 a month, which for them it was a lot, but at least I think that their mindset was they wanted me to do at least better than
Yeah.
them, and
Yeah.
so they kind of like forced me that direction.
Yeah. Most parents feel that way.
Yeah.
They want their kids to do better than they did. That's pretty cool. So you graduate with your bachelor's degree in economics. Then where do you go?
Um, and then I mean it's no prospects at all. Like it's kind of like I mean it's still like this in Ukraine. I mean even like here I see that with education that people graduate and the skill set that they have it's either not aligned with what they're passionate about
Yeah.
or it's like not very practical in the marketplace
Right.
or they're simply not making like a lot of money. So for me like when I graduated I could get a job at um I don't know, like somewhere, like maybe like $200, $300 per month max.
Right.
That was kind of you know what I could expect, and I decided instead of that, I just started to yeah just do different things. I was selling cookies like as a salesman. I was trying all sort of different things just to you know just to make some money because I wanted to make more money than what was kind of you know my based on my education was projected.
Gotcha. So you try different things out. You sell cookies. You do different things to make money. What happens after that?
After that, so 2014, I mean the war broke up in Ukraine, which is still happening right now. Now it just like escalated greatly, and so I didn't want to stay in Ukraine because they were just getting people off the street, you know, taking them to the army, like not very like well equipped, not very like well trained. And so I didn't want to do that. Like I didn't feel that patriotic for my
Right.
country and for all of the decisions that were made by the leadership. So me and my wife at that point, we got married with my wife. We decided to go to Poland, which is you know the neighboring country, and just yeah explore other opportunities.
Okay. So you go to Poland with your wife. What happens then?
We went. We don't speak language. We don't speak Polish. We have zero skills pretty much. So we were just looking for opportunities. We would open the newspaper. Um, we had savings pretty much for just like few months
Yeah.
of living there, and we just started like calling all of the jobs that were there like in the newspaper. You know, this like free newspapers they were giving away um in a subway, and we would get like we would call all the numbers, and you know most of the cases we got you know they just refused us like even cleaning jobs. So I would apply for a job in a hotel, like as a like to clean, you know, the rooms and stuff like that. And they said, you know, they they didn't they didn't want to hire me. And but you know, we landed a job in a factory. It was a factory with we were making like cups. So like this cup, I mean, just a little bit more fancy, but
Yeah.
for Oktoberfest. There's
Okay.
this, you know, Oktoberfest festival, and
So
uh,
mugs.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Very cool one. So we would work in that factory. It's pretty much we would make these cups and then we would put them in a very hot you know, like oven pretty much,
Yeah.
like I don't know, hundreds or thousands of degrees,
Yeah.
and they would burn and they would get like solid, and we'd take them out, would package them and stuff like that.
Okay. So how long did you do that?
I was doing that for about uh okay, probably like a year,
Yeah.
maybe less of a year. Yeah.
Where'd you go after that?
So I mean, one day, because it was, in the facility, we would be covered, me and my wife would be covered with, with dust, like
Hmm.
it's like orange dust, from making these cups.
Hmm.
And we would come home and it would be all like always like dirty and stuff. And, one day, we're coming back from work and I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And I want to do something else. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just not going to do this.
Right.
And so we had all of our clothes in a bag. I just took all of the clothes and threw them in a garbage can. And I called the person who we were working for. And, I was like, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for everything that you did. But, we will not be coming back and, we'll not be working there anymore.
Right. So where'd you go from there?
We're just sitting at home, nothing to do, no skills, no English, like, I mean, nothing, right? We,
Right.
we, we have no idea what we're going to do. And, I heard from some of my friends back in Ukraine that there was a possibility to be like a freelancer. Some of the people that my friends knew, they were freelancers. I'm like, what is freelancer? What do they do? And so I started Googling, and I go to back then it was Elance. Now it's called Upwork.com.
Okay.
And I find that website, and I just start browsing, what kind of roles people are hiring for. And obviously, I'm not speaking English like very well, so using like Google Translate, like all of these other tools, to translate and understand what people are hiring for. And like, so it's search engine optimization, Google AdWords, all of these skills. I see a lot of jobs being posted for those
Hmm.
particular skills. And I created a profile. I called, yeah, I'm search engine, specialist. And then I go to and find all of these tutorials, all of these things that are on that topic, and trying to learn as much as possible about search engine optimization, Google AdWords, like everything that was available at that point of time. Now we have, like, I think, a lot more of those tutorials and those resources to learn. Back then
Right.
it was more limited, but still enough. And but I was very motivated to learn, because I kind of like burned my bridges, so I can go back to the factory, and we have very limited savings, and so back is against the wall, and we have to figure something out. And I just had to learn in a very like intensive way.
Wow. Okay. So you learn SEO, you create a profile, then what happens?
I started applying for jobs.
Okay.
All the jobs that they were there, a lot of limiting beliefs, like, because I don't speak English. I'm like, why would anyone hire me? Like, if they can hire someone from, say, United States, or other countries that where people speak perfect English. My English is, I have this accent, I still have it. And
Mhm.
so why would anyone hire me? But again, I'm back against the wall. I have no other options.
Mhm.
And I want to support my family, I want to support my wife. I want to provide, and just keep applying. And I found a way to apply for these jobs, because what I realized is that most people like just choose the lazy way, I believe. They would just copy and paste the same proposal, right? So when someone posts a job, there is a proposal, and there's many different ways that you can apply for that proposal for the job. And
Right.
most people would just copy the same text. They wouldn't even go into details about, the project, what's required, you know, um, even the name of the person. The person was clearly say that there's a name, and they would just say, hello, without mentioning their name.
Hmm.
And I decided, so that was my kind of like competitive edge, because I had nothing else. And I would use the person name. I would be, I would use video. I still have some of those like old videos. It's very like cringe, but where I would do a video very like low resolution, because my laptop was very old. And I
Hmm.
would record a video like, hey, John, I see you're looking for, X, Y, and Z, and you're looking for this particular, help, and I think, I might be able to help you. and here's what I have, I've been through these training programs, and I've read this, and here's what I see that could be the opportunities for you. Let's connect and let's see what we can do together. And it started to get like initial momentum. I started to get some responses. I was super happy about those responses. Very
Mhm.
small projects, like $100, $200, but I was building my profile, my initial portfolio of the projects, like reviews, because on Elance it was all about the reviews that every person has.
Mhm.
And over time, it started to get better and better momentum.
Wow, that's cool. So you end up landing a job?
It was more like a freelance projects. Over
Okay.
time, some of those turned into more like consistent projects. We had the initial engagement, and some of those people were okay with us working on a continuous basis.
Mhm.
So over time, they started to pay a few $100s a month, or then thousands of dollars per month over time, and over time it just started to kick in and gain momentum.
Gotcha. And at what point do you start e-commerce? At what point do you start your e-commerce company?
So e-commerce, I kind of like discovered by accident because so I was working with all sorts of companies,
Right.
different niches, different industries.
Different
Throughout this
projects,
journey,
all that.
yeah, and I accumulated kind of like skill sets of Google Ads, search engine optimization, websites, how to build them. So accumulated all of these skill sets, which took time,
Mhm.
but I worked with few e-commerce companies, and I just realized the opportunity that e-commerce gives because the people that I worked with, for example, one of the companies that I worked with, it was a gentleman from Japan, and he was
Mhm.
living in Paris, and he
Mhm.
had a remote team all over the world, and he was selling products, I think mostly to US market, and
Yeah.
he was living in Paris. And I'm like, okay, so that's pretty cool. He sells physical products, and he was doing like good numbers at that point. Like he was doing like 200, $300,000 per month.
Yeah.
It was his business. So it was very inspiring to see, and I saw how he operated that business. And that was my first exposure to e-commerce. And over time, as I was getting all of these, skill sets, one of the projects that I was working with one gentleman from, I think Norway, he was running drop shipping business, which
Mhm.
means he, so the gentleman from Japan, he actually hold the inventory, and he had all of this, obviously he invested in that business to have the inventory and to sell it. And I didn't have capital. I didn't have at that point my savings were like a few $1,000s.
Right.
But the other gentleman from Norway, he was selling products from without having them in stock, without prepaying for them. It was
Right.
dropshipping model. He was sending them directly from China, and he would only order that product after he get the sale directly from the consumer.
Right.
So he was running ads, and I knew how to run ads at that point. And he was buying those products, and I knew where he was buying those products. And pretty much like I saw everything that how kind of like how that business was operated, and I decided to give e-commerce a shot
Right.
myself.
That's cool. So you create at some point e-commerce scaling secrets, right?
E-commerce scaling. It was e-commerce scaling secrets. It's our educational company.
Okay.
That company didn't I didn't start until I was already like a few years in e-commerce
Oh, okay.
after I had success. I mean, initial success. And
Yeah.
that company was started, I think, 2018, 19. I just started it.
Okay.
And it really didn't get like a lot of momentum until like 2020 when we started, building a team for it and stuff like that. Before that, it was a hobby.
Okay. So that's an educational company. And what
Correct.
you teach people is you teach them how to take their e-commerce business and scale it.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us how that works.
So, e-commerce scaling secrets. So there's different levels of skills that you need to build an e-commerce business. So when I was starting out, like first I needed to understand, how to build a website and how to choose the products and how to, run advertising. Mostly we're using Facebook for advertising. And so those are like initial skill set people need to have.
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, we have a few different programs that we help people with. Like one is called Brand Builders Academy, where we help people that are just starting from scratch to get the initial momentum, to learn all of these basic, skill set that need to operate e-commerce business. And we also have e-commerce scaling secrets. That's the same name, but it's for more experienced entrepreneurs who are already doing, let's say, $50,000, $100,000 per month. They already have those basic skill sets, but now they need to learn how to grow the business, how to scale it. And so the type of things that we're teaching there are slightly different, because obviously people have been through all of the foundations. They know how to build, basic websites, choose products and stuff like that. We teach them how to optimize those websites, how to run their ads more profitably, how to build a team around that business so it's not only dependent on them. And so these are two main things that, we're helping entrepreneurs with.
Okay. So you've been doing this since 2018, right?
Yeah.
And you've obviously you have some people that have succeeded at a pretty high level. Can you give us some examples of some success stories?
Yeah, some of the people that we've helped with, we've helped to like from 2021, like we worked with them for a long time. Now we're not even working together, but they're still friends. But for example, some entrepreneurs started with us when they were doing they already had momentum with their businesses. They were doing like 100K per month in sales. They had the initial traction, but they couldn't scale it. So one gentleman literally just had a conversation.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.